breaking. But true power isn't found in constant resistance. At Black Mental Health Matters, we are redefining the narrative. There is immense strength in softness. There is courage in choosing to heal, in setting down the heavy lifting, and in claiming your peace as a non-negotiable right. We are building the infrastructure for impact. A collective space where the diaspora can find tools, community, and the unshakable permission to slow down, process, and thrive. Your healing is not a luxury, it is the foundation. Join the movement. Let's build a softer, stronger tomorrow together.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mental Health Matters Show, a platform dedicated to raising awareness, breaking the stigma surrounding mental health, and empowering individuals, families, and communities through education, meaningful conversations, and practical solutions. Mental health affects every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our work, our families, and our overall well being. Yet, far too many people continue to suffer in silence. Our mission is to create a safe and inclusive space where conversations about mental health are encouraged, resources are shared, and healing begins. Each episode features engaging discussions with mental health professionals, community leaders, advocates, and individuals with lived experience as we explore topics that matter, from anxiety, depression, and stress management to racial trauma, intergenerational trauma, resilience, self care, and emotional wellness. Whether you're here to learn, find support, or simply be inspired, we're grateful you've joined us. Please like, subscribe, share this episode, and help us spread the message that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Together, let's build healthier minds, stronger communities, and a future where mental health is a priority for everyone. Welcome to the Black Mental Health Show. Joining me today is Chastity Wallace, who's present at the moment. I am Sonia Hart. I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner with Sanctuaries for Spiritual Living. I live in Barbados, and I'm an advocate for mental well-being. Welcome, Chastity. Please
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself and tell our audience a bit about who you are.
Thank you so much for having me. Again, I am Chastity Wallace. I'm excited to be here. I am an instructional presenter and career specialist. I enjoy helping people understand that they have the self determination and confidence to do great, momentous things in terms of their careers and their personal lives, incorporating also their spiritual well being as a great movement into how they carry out their best selves in the world in which they lived. So I'm excited today as we embark together on coming up with great summer wellness strategies for our overall benefit, our emotional well being, so that we can be excited about great things that we can all achieve in our personal, professional lives and our relationships. So I hope you are ready to get started.
Yes, indeed, I am. So I want to
All
start
right.
with my first question, the thing that I'm curious about, and that is for many in the Black community, summer isn't always about that break. You know, it can actually amplify the stress. How do factors, how do factors like the strong Black woman archetype and the pressure of constant productivity contribute to the summer burnout?
Well, that is a great question, and it is something that women of color struggle with. And summer changes our environment. Um, we have more daylight, more social invitations, of course, more heat, and more expectations. And those changes affect our mental health. Some of us feel energized. Others may feel overwhelmed. Some feel the pressure to be productive or social. And some feel a sign of relief. You think about teachers, for example. They're able to get that time off, right? Where they've been with students for 10, 11 months every single day, teaching, curriculum, discipline, things of that nature. So I would like everyone to develop a wellness wheel for themselves. And this would include their emotional, physical, social, environmental, spiritual, and occupational wellness. And us as Black women, we should look at it as a balance check. When one area is depleted, it affects the others. When one area is nourished, it supports the whole system.
I like where you've gone with that, and I would like to explore the areas specifically that you're talking about. You said when one area is depleted, it affects the whole system. Can you expand on that a bit? And before you start, I would like to welcome Felicia Haney. Felicia, can you introduce yourself to the audience? And then we'll
Yes,
come back to Chastity and let her expand on that question.
absolutely. And good morning, everyone. And thank you for allowing me to join. My name is Felicia Haney, and I am a population health leader for a health insurance company. And my background is all things minority health issue, population health, women's health. So I'm very happy to be joining you today.
Welcome, Felicia. Felicia, we're discussing the strong Black woman archetype and the fact that for some in the Black community, summer isn't always about taking a break. And the
Mhm.
question was, how do factors like the strong Black woman archetype um, and the pressure of constant productivity contribute to burnout? That's the question. So I'm going to let Chastity expand a bit on what she was saying in terms of those areas where if one thing isn't where it should be, how it affects everything else.
Absolutely, Sonia. Again, we have our wellness wheel that we should all develop, but a lot of us have them, right? As women, we have them. We have so many hats that we wear. We have our emotional, we have our physical, our social, our environment, and our spiritual, and our occupations, right? So if one of those areas are depleted, it affects all of them. Again, when one area is nourished, it supports the whole system. So when we think about summer, okay, we want to think about it as a chance to rebalance ourselves. But only if we pause long enough to notice what our needs are. And we have to rely on each other to say, hey, what are your needs? Where do you think you need a balance at? Check in with one another. So that gives us a moment to reflect. Um, if you would like to take notes, you may, or if you want to act or do any notes in the chat, I'll guide you through some questions that we should be able to ask ourselves and people in our circle, right? What areas of wellness feel strong for you? And you can ask yourselves these on a daily basis, right? What areas do you feel depleted? What do I need more of this summer? And what do I need less of? And we have to be significantly honest with ourselves to know that there are just certain things that we need less of. Now, if you're comfortable, you can share one insight in the chat, something you need more of, or something you need less of, right? And we should be able to do those check ins to say, I just need more of that. That could be more walking, that could be more meditation, that could be more journaling. I need less of that. I need less talks or questions about my personal life or my professional life. I just want to feel and be human, right? Things of that nature. So we can reflect together. Is there anything that you all feel that you need more of or less of?
I'm gonna let Felicia answer that or share if she wants to. As long as it's nothing that is too personal, you know.
Yeah. And then,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay.
Yes. So thank you, Chastity, for those questions, because actually I was thinking while you were asking the question, what do you need more of? What do you need less of?
Mhm.
I need to focus on turning off the switch for work mode.
Yes.
I tend to constantly have things like generate different ideas. And I find myself jotting down notes, but there's a time for work and there's a work life balance. So I need to turn the off switch more when it's no longer time for work time within the confinements of the work schedule. So, for example, on the weekend, and I need more time of peace.
Yeah.
That moment that you get to just kind of think about things and just let your mind wander. It doesn't
Oh, yeah.
have to be anything about, oh, I have to do this, I have to clean the house. It could just be, what color, what shade of color do I want to envision, like something that I want to paint or something that I want to look into, or just let my mind kind of wander in that piece and just think out loud. I think a lot of times as Black women, we have so much on our plate, and I call it the
Yeah.
Superwoman syndrome because we wear and do so much for everybody and the
Mhm.
whole, you forget to pour into yourself.
Mhm.
So just allowing yourself to be in that space where you just think like almost like a child, how they have that wild, vivid imagination. Just sit back and think, the music, something that you would like to do, adult coloring. So
Mhm.
definitely need to turn off the off switch for work and ideas and get more of those moments in where I feel peace and I think about things that make me happy.
That is beautiful, Felicia. And it's so very important to turn that switch off from work mode and go into that peaceful mode where I can be creative, where, like you said, I can just think about all the things that make me happy, going back to that childlike mind where I just want to smile and think about the beautiful things. And you are definitely in a position where you can do that. We just have to say, you know what? I'm going to go that way today. I'm going to go that way for 3 days where I just want to have a balance to where I don't want to think about work, but I just want to feel free. So, as we go into how we get deeper into incorporating those things, there are 3 R's of summer mental health wellness strategies that we can incorporate into our daily lives. And that is to regulate, restore, and recharge. So, when we think about regulating, these are tools that help calm our nervous systems. We need grounding, breath work. A lot of times when we're just going, 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 we don't take enough time to breathe. And that creates that anxiety, or a lot of times it puts us to where, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And we have to regulate our nervous system. That's the first thing. Sensory resets, and we have to slow down. The next thing is restoring. These habits are things that fill our baseline. We need that sleep, drinking water, resting, getting that rest. Okay, what if that's just sitting in your room and looking out the window, or you go somewhere and just be by yourself where you can just rest, get some quiet times. And a lot of us for the summer, when we think about how we have these routines during maybe spring, winter, and fall. In the summers, we kind of want to break those routines, right? Give ourselves a break. We have those kind of like 8 weeks. We have June and July. Then, of course, if we have kids, they're back at school. So we definitely want to kind of break a routine. We kind of want to say, you know what? Instead of getting up at 7, I'm going to lay in the bed till 8:30. Okay, I'm going to do something for myself 3 days out of this week that breaks a routine, because I know soon enough I'm going to have to be back in another routine, and that's what weighs and bogs us down. So in the summer, we definitely have to find a way first to regulate our nervous system, ground ourselves, and then we have to restore ourselves. And before we know it, we're feeling much freer, we're feeling much healthier, stable, in our minds, body, and souls. And we have to give ourselves quiet times. If that's just going to the library, okay, to look out the window and just pick up a book that you never thought about, before you know it, you find yourself looking out the window, thinking about things that make you happy. Um, and the next R is going to be to recharge. What are some things that bring you joy? Okay. Is it connecting with a long lost relative? Is it taking that trip that you've been putting off? Creativity. What is something that that brings out your creativity? What is something that you want to try? Is it painting that you want to try doing? Is it sewing? Things of that nature, right? Connections. Do you have a connection circle? Do you have people who actually support you if you want to try something new? Do you have people who are going to pour into you and say that's great, and who are going to feed you those ideas, right, to help you continue in that growth mindset? And then a part of that recharge is getting that energy, getting that energy to do all of the things that are going to help to regulate you, and restore you, right? So we have to think of our mental health like an energy budget. Some things drain you, some things will fuel you, some things are neutral. The goal is to spend your energy intentionally. I think you're done.
Yeah, that was a lot to absorb there. And if I hear you correctly, you're talking about rest, you're talking about enjoyment, you're talking about getting out and doing things just for yourself. And that would have been my second question, more or less, you know. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask this question. The soft life movement, which encourages prioritizing ease and joy over the grind. How can listeners practically apply this philosophy to reclaim their time this summer? You've mentioned some of them before, so
Absolutely.
I'm gonna ask Felicia to, just weigh in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, please weigh in. Again, regulating, restoring, and recharging. That's our framework, right? When we feel like, hey, we have to be on go. And guess what? We have to kind of break those routines. So, absolutely.
I agree. So with regulating, um, and I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and so understanding that it is summertime, and it is okay to readjust that sleep schedule for the children,
Yes.
because mommy needs some time to sleep in just a little bit, especially
Hmm.
on the weekends. So it took me a while to get comfortable with doing that because I'm so used to a strict schedule to maintain consistency and the cadence and making sure that my children have a very strict kind of a routine. But also in the summertime, it is time to step back a little bit. It kind of goes back into, me shutting off that work switch and just making sure that I have that time, those moments of reflection. But then also what you said, Chastity, in reference to restore.
Hmm.
I actually And I don't mind sharing this. I went through a sleep study trial because I was so wound up in trying to work and trying to get things done and had all these things to balance, to where I actually wanted to join a sleep study trial to see if I could learn some behavioral change, in which I did. But then I also wanted to do that because I wanted to be a representative of a Black woman to be a part of research,
Hmm.
so they can hopefully be able to address maybe some of the disparities and differences between trial studies. So sleep is definitely important. And so for me, getting between 6 to 7.5 hours of sleep, that's what works with me. That's what works
Yes.
with my schedule. So that has been very helpful this summer with me kind of relaxing and letting myself know you do have a little bit more time, Felicia. So if you just want to, relax while the children are asleep,
Hmm.
that is my me time at night. And then also to recharge. I know everybody has heard of the notion, you want to get summertime ready, you want to do all these things.
Yes.
I am just going to love the skin that I am in. And if I can just do one thing at a time, to where it's just a brief walk, it doesn't have to be a full hour walk, but just a brief walk for 10 to
Hmm.
15 minutes, just to get outside, to get that fresh air, to let that sun hit my skin. That is where I am at in life. So those are, especially walking outside, or, doing things, whether you're introvert or extrovert, it just depends, but you can still do things that make you feel good and recharge you.
Absolutely. And again, it's just kind of incorporating those small things, right?
Hmm.
Because we are in these routines, especially as women, Black women, wow, we have to pat ourselves on the back because we do everything with momentum and such grace. And we smile while doing it. So I encourage everyone, especially my Black women, break those routines. Yes, we have that cadence, right? We have a schedule. We know it like the back of our hands. But at the same time, we have to say, you know what? I'm just gonna, hey, step away from this routine. I am a coach of routines. I teach routines. So I think it's very important to have them, especially for people who are just kind of starting out with developing routines. But for us who have balanced it for so many years, we have families, we have kids, we have husbands, we have other people that we take care of. We have a full schedule every day. Absolutely, we have to take into account that we have to bring that rest and quiet time and more sleep to ground ourselves. It's extremely important for the success of our emotional well-being, which contributes so much to our mental health as well. Because a lot of times we think that we can just pour into people when we are so depleted. We haven't even took the time to check in with ourselves, and people expect so much from us. So guess what we're have to do as well? We're going to have to say, hey, I got to shut that off for a minute because I got to take care of me for a minute. If you'll give me some time to ground myself, and communicating with people in that way is important as well, to let them know, hey, I got to pour into me. I got to check in with me. Just give me a moment there. Having those honest conversations with people also helps to regulate your mental health as well.
Thank you so much,
Some other
Chastity.
things that we can do. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, I was going to go on to say, talk about play because it is often seen as being unproductive, going out and having a good time. Here in Barbados, we don't have a seasons the way most North American countries do. It
Yeah.
is summer all year round for us in terms of the weather. And we're surrounded by lots of water, and there's a lot of beach activity happening, especially on weekends. And to some extent, we also have a lot of partying happening, especially
Mm-hmm.
around this period, starts in June until the first Monday in August. You're going to have what we call the crop over season, which is a lot of partying, grand kadooment bands, and people just having fun. So my question is, how can active rest through joyful, non productive activities boosts our resilience. And what does incorporating even 5 minutes of play look like? Can you incorporate 5 minutes of play? And I don't mean the play that people do on their cell phones where they isolate everyone and there's no human interaction. I'm talking about the things we did as kids, hopscotch, skipping, jump rope. I think jump rope is the thing where you get the old pantyhose and you see how high you
Mm-hmm.
can go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chastity may be a little too young to remember that. Things like roller skating up and down the street, just having fun. And I don't think that adults play
Mm-hmm.
enough. We
Yes.
get bogged down with the responsibilities and I gotta do this. And the other thing, and I know I've felt this way for a long time, I did not want to appear silly in front of people. So for me,
Mm.
play was not happening. I After a certain age, when I became a teenager, play went out the window. But now I'm realizing that play is essential for
It's
my well-being. Just dropping everything and either go dancing or just hanging out with friends, going to the beach, just doing something where I say, shut the brain down from overthinking about all the things that need to be done and just be. Just be.
just be.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on that is we have to say, you know what? I I'm going to be self-determined in knowing that I can just be. Okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that I have to do what everybody else is doing. Right. I want to be silly. I want to be free. I want to develop that autonomy to say I choose to do that. So again, we as individuals responsible for ourselves can say I choose to do that. We have to say I can have the competence as well. I'm not relying on anybody else's approval to say, hey, I can't still have fun because I'm an adult and I have all these responsibilities. You know what? Being silly makes me happy and it makes me, my mental healthness, it keeps it in balance and in check so that I can be a good wife, I can be a good mother, I can be a good friend. Is everyone going to feel the same way you feel in regards to that? No. And that's where you have to develop your social circle for those people who will support you and understand your narrative and can relate to you in that way. So a lot of times when we don't have that, you know what happens? We lose that motivation. And we shouldn't do that because again, we don't want our self-worth to be diminished because others don't want to see things that way. So there is a smart framework, right? What are some things that are specific for me and how I want to act and behave, right? What are things that are meaningful to me? Um, is it achievable? Are these achievable? Do I have people who I can work with to help me keep these things in balance or reach these goals? How relevant is it to me? Those are also questions, and we have to check in with ourselves. What you just asked is so relevant, right? And it's relevant to so many people who just want to say, you know what? I wanna I don't want to have these responsibilities all the time, right? But I want to be able to do other things that make me feel free and give me more energy and things of that nature. So with that, a lot of we need to build us a summer wellness plan. Create your goals, right? What's an autonomy goal you want? Choose something for yourself, a competence goal, something you want to get better at, something you want to do different, right? And relatable, something that strengthens your connections.
Chastity, can
Would
I can
anyone
I just jump in there and ask, is this the
absolutely
same as creating a wellness toolkit for yourself? Is that the same when you say, setting goals and stuff like that?
absolutely we need that toolkit, right? We definitely need that toolkit to say, um we we want to be able to have things that are attainable for us, because when we have a balanced routine outside of summer, no matter where you are, we have toolkits, right? But when we have this kind of downtime in the summer, which we have, we still have to think about the tools that we need, what's going to support our mental health and not stress us out. What are some things that I
Could
can
you
remove?
Okay, I'm gonna put this question to Felicia. Can you list some of the things that you should put into your toolkit to have a great summer where you feel refreshed when you get back into the normal routine, the kids going to school, you're back to work? And this is based on the assumption that you do have a vacation in the summer, because
Mhm.
not everyone can afford to
Yes.
take that summertime out where they can have a long respite moment, with their
Hmm.
family, and some, of course, with yourself to recharge. Not everyone will be in the financial position to do that. So, if you're on a limited budget
Yes.
and you're only getting 1 week off during the summer,
Hmm.
how would you build out a toolkit for that 1 week on a limited budget?
Great question. So for me, my toolkit, first and foremost, I would have it as a everyday reminder. Felicia, have fun. Have fun. It
Mm-hmm.
is the summertime, but then also think about things that don't necessarily cost a lot of money or require a lot of time and planning and things of that nature. Sometimes you want to just kind of go with the flow. So I like that you had mentioned where you're from in Barbados. There's a lot of different activities, a lot of outdoor activities. If those are just things that you can simply, either drive to, ride your bike, whatever mode of transportation, going to the beach, I mean, that's a luxury for me where I live in Indiana because we don't really have a beach. And if there is a man-made beach or things of that nature, we have to drive. So also going to
Let's
a
go to
park.
Barbados, Felicia.
I, when you were talking, I was like, let me look to see what's available so that I can go. So
Come to Barbados.
but absolutely, but going to the park to see some of the park equipment that I remember when I was growing up as a child, that spiral slide, my goodness, I will get on there. And if the kids don't want to go, okay, well, you about to watch mommy because mommy gonna go down this slide. Just
Yes.
something that's fun, and it makes me relive parts of my childhood. It's just like I remember doing this. I remember going down the slide and seeing if you could turn around and things like that. So that would definitely be a part of my toolkit, making sure that first and foremost, have fun.
Hmm.
Second would be also look for things that are open and free in the public. There are a lot of like local news articles. If you go online, there are events coming up. So, for example, next week, it's going to be the 4th of July where they celebrate Independence Day for America, for the United States of America. So there are a lot of different fireworks shows, different arts and craft events that are free and open to the public. Take time to look into those and plan the family day with that to say, you know what, we don't have to spend the whole day. Maybe we want to sleep in for a little bit, but let's try to go out. Go in the morning before it gets hotter in the afternoon. You can do some simple planning along that way. And always, I think people kind of, whether they grew up doing this experience or just trying something new, plan a picnic. And the picnic
I
does
like
not have to
that.
be in the park. The picnic can be in your yard if you have a yard. The picnic can be, just at a library or just, just something different. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily, you don't want people, because another thing that we do stress over in this economy, money, the finance, how much gas is
Yeah.
going to cost to get there, how much, this, that, and the third. So just try to think more simplistic about things. And then if you do have neighbors and supportive friends, maybe do something like in the community. Just have like, a little community block party or something like that where everybody just does a pitch in, something simple like that, so you don't feel like the weight of the budget is on your shoulder, but you can spread out and share. So that could also help, strengthen the community, strengthen your village that you may have, or some people may not have that village. But just stepping out and trying to do something new that does not require a whole lot of effort, and definitely does not dig into your pockets, because we all have different bills, responsibilities that we have to take care of. So just make sure when you're doing things, have fun, and just think about the things that are readily available that you can do for free, that you don't always have to put a price tag to it. So those
Thank
examples would
you,
be in my
Felicia.
toolkit.
Now I'm going to go into, because you talked about going to the park, and for me, that is nature. And if I remember anything about parks in the USA, they have trees, lots and lots of
Mm-hmm.
trees.
Yes.
And going into nature can also help you to reconnect with the true essence of summer, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe it is when you see all those beautiful green leaves. Just
Yes.
yesterday, I passed a house and there were these beautiful yellow flowers, and I said, I have to come back
Mm-hmm.
and sit out here. It's
Mm-hmm.
not my property, but
Yeah.
just to see those flowers again. I'm a
Hmm.
nature person. I love nature. I love to watch everything in nature. One of my greatest joys is going walking early in the morning eons ago, and there was this huge neighborhood, and there were a variety of birds. And when you pass at that 4 day hour in the morning, you just got the most beautiful symphony of bird songs from that tree. And that was my pause moment. Just pause and listen. Because I was out in nature. Granted, it's somebody in Barbados, it was like a village neighborhood that I was walking through. But for me, that was a very beautiful sound. There's another property here in Barbados that I absolutely love to go to. It's my second job, more or less, and it's in a wooded area. It is absolute peace. But what you do get every now and again, you see the monkeys running around and swinging around. And that for me brings peace, brings calm. Just observing the wildlife in Barbados, so to speak. And that's about as wild as you get monkeys, you know.
Yeah.
So I want to discuss how nature, or being out in nature, can help us with our summer wellness. I'm going to turn it over to you, Chastity.
That's a great question. I too am a nature person. I would love to see monkeys, but only thing I get here in Georgia is a deer.
Okay, that's lovely.
And
That's lovely.
I talk to the animals. I talk to the deers. If I go on a walk, I just will talk to them. Nature, greenery, it's oxygen. It's like connects you with your spiritual well-being. If you can listen and hear, you will hear so many beautiful things. Do enough of us connect with nature to help with our mental healthness and anxiety? Probably not, because we haven't learned to turn that switch off. But nature helps to preserve us in so many ways. It allows that peace to come in, which we all need, to quiet us or just to make us have fun or laugh. But that, again, that's going back to our autonomy, and how we can reach out to others by incorporating those types of summer wellness strategies. Get out there into those trees, because summer is when the trees are really, really blooming. There's one particular little walk I go on throughout all seasons. And in the summer, when I hit though that wooden trail and I see all those trees, I'm like, wow. I wish I had the courage to just go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I
I
wish I
think
had
that's
the,
awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to go on to ask this question because this is for the listeners. This is information I want you to give to the listeners, you know. How can they build a personalized self-care toolkit using culturally relevant practices like movement? And I would have mentioned here in Barbados, this is our crop over season, and there are going to be lots of parties, and parties mean lots of dancing. So dance is movement.
Hmm.
How about things like meditation? I mean, coming back to the quiet side, you're going into the wooded areas and you're just getting your zen on, you know, becoming quiet.
Yeah.
And one of the things that bring communities together, and Felicia, you mentioned doing community events, and that
Hmm.
is cooking, you know, bringing people together for a meal. What role do traditional healing practices play? And this is looking at different cultures because I'm in Barbados and our culture is different to that of the African Americans.
Yeah.
We do even the Caribbean on the whole, we do things different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So look at it from your cultural perspectives, and I'm sure that um, Chastity, you said you're in Georgia,
Yes.
and Felicia, you said you're in
I'm in
Indiana.
Indiana. In Indiana.
Indiana, I'm
Hmm.
sure that those two states have different cultures.
Hmm. They do.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I don't
I've traveled
know
to a few
actually.
places in America, and things are, yeah, people, they're different accents. New York has a different accent to
Yes. So that,
Washington.
yes. Hmm.
So they have different foods. The people in the South have the better, in my opinion, they have better manners than people from
Yes.
New York and some of the other big cities. I'm just saying, based on my experience.
The Southern
Um,
hospitality.
yeah,
Yeah.
so drawing on the differences culturally, you know, let us discuss how movement, maybe meditation, or even cooking can be a part of the summer wellness.
Absolutely. Movement. Um, get out there in nature. You know, take some time walking, getting with your family members, your girl circle, finding um, walks, that are posted around where you can, get with a group, especially if you guys can do hikes and things of that nature in the woods. It's so important. And then you can do meetups with people where they have cook-offs, or it's the summertime, so you can get, with friends and family again. Hey, let's just have a, cook-off at someone's house, someone's backyard, at the park. Everybody bring a dish, something not so heavy, maybe some
Mhm.
fruit salad, some salads, some nice, water with lemon, and just kind of let's gather. At the same time, you can play kickball, you can play frisbee at the park. For those of us who have pets, we can, spend more time with our pets, although, we have to limit their time in the heat and also limit our time in the heat. But culturally, being outside in the sun helps with our mental health,
Mhm.
and that helps to, again, break that routine where we have to get this done or get that done. So culturally, it's so important for us, because you know what, we carry a lot, we do a lot, it's just in our nature, to be these individuals who just say, hey, that's just how we were created, just to do great and magnificent things. But at the same time, we got to learn how to pull back, enjoy one another, uplift one another, get out there, encourage people who themselves they don't even really know. Hey, this is nature. This is what I can envision and do in nature. I can take, teenage kids out here and let them look up at the sky, look at the beautiful trees, get away from their phones. bring them up, and next thing you know, they're asking you, hey, you going back on that walk again? We're going back to the park
Mm-hmm.
again. Because they themselves will then realize, wow, I need to get in balance with myself too. Disconnect from my phone, my computer, and see all this beautiness out here. So culturally, to continue to be our best selves, um, in how we build relationships and our mindset, it's so important that we do that on a daily basis with nature and getting ourselves moving about. So important.
I'm gonna, because it just came up for me. You say, getting ourselves out there in nature, turning off the cell phones. We're living in a culture where, even in the Caribbean, the cell phone has become more or less an appendage to our anatomy. You
Mm-hmm.
carry it everywhere. Um, how do you get young people? And I see this on the bus here in Barbados. There's no social engagement. And one of the things that I know from experience as well as from theory, that social engagement brings with it a level of mental wellness
Oh yeah.
that you cannot find when your head is down in the phone and isolated, because you can still feel alone even though you're connected on your phone
Mm-hmm.
looking at stuff.
Mm.
Human interaction is necessary. So what resources are there for young, the generation that is coming after me, after you? I think Chastity, you look so young. I could almost say you're a teenager, but
Ah,
the generation that's coming after,
I'm
what
not though.
resources are in place? What resources are in place for young Black youth to help them with their summer wellness this year? I mean, we're now, well, school isn't out for us here yet, but what
Oh,
programs are there in the USA that young people can participate in for their mental wellness, that overall well-being? And I don't just want to say mental, but mental and physical well-being.
well, for us, I would say here, we have camps. We have a lot of summer camps. They're
Mm-hmm.
expensive. Um, so you really have to kind of see which ones may be free, which ones may not be so expensive. And then for myself, we have Vacation Bible School at my church where teens can come out, middle schoolers can come out. They have activities they can do at the certain time, at the same time, learning about Christ. All of that's so important, incorporating those type of things. A lot of kids, they still have school activities that they're doing
Mm-hmm.
for those of who play sports. Sometimes they have those type of things, but we need so many more. We need so many more. Even programs like this, to get them engaged, to get them off of their devices, so that mentally they can be well. Because doom scrolling on their phones and things like that, we know, um, is not a great mindset for them, especially to go
Mm-hmm.
back to school.
Yes.
It starts with, I think, also grooming at a young age, accountability with parents as well, starting there, because they themselves have to be able to encourage and push their kids to learning and doing new things outdoors and in the community, whether it's volunteering, and things of that nature, joining groups to where they can learn and develop other things is very important. So again, it's all about going out into your community, having touch points with people, reaching people, conducting workshops, putting yourself out there to invite those adolescents into places where they can build upon their skills is very, very important.
I like that. Felicia, what are your resources? What resources do you have in your area?
So like a lot of what Chastity said, there's different, organizations that have camps, but of course I'm
Mhm.
thinking of opportunities for people who may not have that budget for a camp.
Yeah.
My thing is there could be a community, like a neighborhood, like sports team. You don't necessarily need to join an official camp or things like that to create things of your own within your own neighborhood, within the neighborhood kids. So I also sh- not necessarily struggle, but I try to be creative. If there's going to be screen time, I'm going to incorporate
Mhm.
something for the kids to get up and move. So there are games on YouTube like The Floor is Lava. You can get those kids moving, push the tablet away, have them do The Floor is Lava where they're doing different movements, but then also they can do yoga moves online. There are kid with it's a limited time, of course. It's less than 10 minutes. They can do yoga. They can do different workout moves, and they can learn dance steps. But then also to get them, of course, completely removed from the screen time. I don't know what it is with cardboard boxes, but the imagination that kids
Yes.
have with cardboard
Oh,
boxes, and
yes.
we all come across them every once in a while, depending on like what you order. If you go to the store, get some cardboard boxes and have them create a fortress, build a castle, do some different things. It really taps into their critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
their motor development skills, their communication. Because
Mm-hmm.
one say,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
let's make it long. No, let's make it tall. Okay, how can you guys both work together to get both of what you would like to have? Or do Jenga. Like it's like using those skills that I
Mm-hmm.
feel like sometimes get drowned away when we're using a lot of screen time. So I try to do the balance of, if you're going to do screen time, you're going to do something that's interactive as well too. You're not just going to have the screen in front of your face, but then also with community service, I'm very big on community service and just giving back. So is there something that can be done within your neighborhood? You may not necessarily need to go drive to the other side of town, to go to this event, but could you help out your neighbor? Are you guys
Mm-hmm.
pulling weeds? Can you help on that level? So there's things that can be done that do not require a large big commitment to do, but just something that can be done locally. Mhm.
I love their answers. Those are amazing answers. Here in Barbados, we have summer camp, and of course, we have the beaches. So
Mhm.
our young people will spend a lot of time in the water. I want to share with you, however, and this is out of Canada. It is hosted by the Orangeville District Secondary School, and it is called Ubuntu Summer Mental Health Program for the Youth.
Ooh.
And when I came across, I was like, really? Because we all know that Ubuntu, the word Ubuntu has a different meaning
Mhm.
coming out of Africa. But I wanted to share that resource with you that there is such a camp going on. It starts July 6th until July 8th, a little 2 day thing where you get young people
That's great.
stimulated in a mental health program. Here in Barbados, we also have a hotline for the youth, hotline you can call for mental health assistance. I mean, not that that is related to summer, but more and more you're seeing opportunities for
Mhm.
mental wellness just
Yeah.
popping up everywhere, everywhere. And I think that that is important. And I'm going to go back to this question that I wanted to ask. And this is as it relates to the strong Black woman again, because we know that we wear so many hats.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask this personally: what are your plans for yourselves as it relates to summer wellness? Don't give me any personal details, just something that the audience can take away.
So for
Just something that the
myself,
audience can take away.
absolutely. For myself, it's going to be lots of rest. lots of me time, lots of just sitting and staring. Um, and again, getting out into nature, getting in touch with what makes me happy, pouring into myself. That's
Ooh,
important. If I have to turn off my phone, not respond, that's very important as well. Again, it's hey, taking a little mental health break, I'll get back to you. So, again, boundaries, creating those boundaries as well is very important as a Black woman. Again, when you wear so many hats, you're doing so much, we forget about ourselves. So creating those boundaries is very important. And again, I'm going to have some laps in my routines. I'm going to take a chance and say, you know what? Going to be free a little bit. Going to be free a little bit. So yeah, those are my takeaways.
Felicia?
I echo a lot of what Chastity said, but then also what I'm working on is not forgetting who I am.
Hmm.
Before I was a mom, before I was a wife, I was Felicia.
Uh-huh.
Get to what Felicia likes to do and continue to respectfully decline and say no, because I like to plan. I like to do things. I like to, it's like, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
I am consciously going to make the effort and the decision. I'm going to an event next week. I'm going to support my friend. I don't get to get out that much. So for me, it's just no. I was all about me and my girls. We have fun. I want to support my friend on one of her career moves,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be there to support her. We gonna figure out where the kids gonna go. Y'all go, but I need me. I need my Felicia time. I need my girl time. So I think those are some takeaways for me that I hope the audience takes into consideration. Learn how to say the word no. Just because it's summertime, there's a whole lot of stuff going on,
Yeah.
but what if you just want to relax and be in that summertime feeling and just lay on your bed? You
Yes.
can say no.
Yes.
You are not
Yes.
obligated, because if you keep pouring out to other people, you're getting dehydrated. You got you got to take a step back and fill yourself up. So yeah.
Yeah.
I love your responses. And what I've heard through all of this is that self is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cannot give from an empty place. So, in as much as summer wellness will incorporate a lot of family and friends activities,
Mm-hmm.
there are still moments when you come away and you say, you know what? Felicia matters. Chastity matters. Sonia matters. And just pull back and
Mm-hmm.
have time for yourself to reflect. I think that we, on the whole, do not understand how our bodies
Yes.
and mind operate as a synergy. And I think Chastity, you touched on this, that when one thing is off, everything else is going to be off. That we
Yes.
need the balance. We need to come to that place where summer wellness is not just for a specific time,
Mm-hmm.
but it is all year round. Taking
Yes.
care of number one so that you can take care of all the other little numbers in there. And I know that we as women can neglect ourselves while building everyone else up, being the
Yes.
support beam for everyone, and neglecting our mental well being as well as our physical well being. And the two are so interconnected. You can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if your body doesn't feel well, then you start to get depressed and all these other things happen. And
Oh
if
yeah.
you're depressed, then the body picks it up as well. So it's about creating that balance so that summer wellness is a lifetime of wellness in all the areas of life. And that's how I say it for myself, taking care of me, saying no. That's one of the things that I'm still working on, how to say no so that I don't feel guilty for saying no because someone is demanding
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
me my time. I know what burnout feels like
Mm-hmm.
when you're juggling all these balls and
Oh
afraid to let any of them
yes.
drop because so many people are relying on you and have expectations of you. I also know what it is like to pamper myself, take time out and rent a little beach house somewhere and say, you know what? Goodbye, world, goodbye, everyone. And when I do that, I shut my phone off. I just
Mm-hmm.
go off grid. If I need to contact someone, I will, but you're not calling me. And
Mhm.
no, you're not calling me. And in those moments, I take with me my spiritual paraphernalia, my altar, my journal, and I
Mhm.
cannot live without some good spiritual music and inspirational music. So that's what I take with me. And I spend that time with my higher self. Some may say God, some may say the source of the universe. But I take that time to connect to source within and practice self love, self
Mm-hmm.
kindness. Unfortunately, it does not last long enough because when I leave that space and I come back to civilization,
It's like,
Mhm.
I
Chaos.
started all over again.
mm-hmm,
Yes, I started
mm-hmm,
all over again. And
Mhm.
that's why it's important that we remember that summer, if you live in Barbados, is every day.
Mhm.
It isn't a season, it is every day. And summer wellness has to be everyday wellness. Even
every
if you
day.
take 5 minutes out of a day just to say, you know what, let me pause, breathe, and connect to source for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Forget all of that other stuff that's going on. And I think that that's important. Spirituality has to be a very important part of the summer wellness.
it does.
Yes. And we have absorbed an hour and 2 minutes. I would like to thank the listeners for being here. I would like to give a special thank you to Black Mental Health Matters team, those who started this program 6 years ago. Today is our sixth anniversary. And I want to
Ooh,
say
Congratulations.
congratulations for, yes, for
congratulations.
being here, being
Yay.
online, and putting this information out there so that the healing begins for our people by our people supporting each other. Thank you all for being here. I look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you again
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're
Take
most
care.
welcome.
Take care.